Well, welcome back to GMJ. It's no secret it's very cold outside this morning, and today we're on your side helping you keep up with the exercise routine despite those frigid temperatures. We're joined right now with Dr. Mario Pulido with Ascension St. Vincent's Hospital. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, it's cold outside, and when we think about it, going outside and working out in the cold, what is so different between the Florida weather and the northern weather?
No, you're exactly right. So being in Florida, this is pretty extreme weather for us. And so, many runners, folks who do activities early in the morning are not acclimated to this type of extreme weather. So it's really important to pause and really slow down and make sure you have adequate warm-up time. Also consideration of how we lose fluids during this time, so making sure you're well hydrated. And then as the body gets warmed up and starts moving along, considering removal of those layers as you continue to improve and increase your activity level.
Well, how can that air impact our respiratory system when you're outside because it's so cold?
So just like the cold weather shocks us as we get out into it, it can also shock our tissues a bit. So there is an element of potential reactive airway phenomenon to some of this. So if you have some of those symptoms, it's important to pay attention to your body and consider if you need to talk to your physician about that. But most folks are just going to have a normal physiological response to this. The main thing is the same principle. Take your time, warm up, dress in layers, stay hydrated, and then allow for that warm up to not only allow for your muscles to warm up, but also your respiratory system and making sure that you're breathing well, feeling well before you get into the more intense part of the activities.
Is it easier to work out in the cold weather versus the hotter weather?
It can be. Once you get past the warm-up phase of the routine, you actually are able to regulate your fluids better and regulate your temperature better. So as long as you have the right level of layers on and you're regulating that temperature well, you can actually go longer because you're not having the same amount of fluid loss that you would have in a more hot environment. So you can go longer with that.
Now, when it comes to the performance and being outside, is it better for people to start early or later when it comes to those workout routines?
That's a great question. I think any of those options are okay, but again, the earlier you go, usually the colder in the morning, so you want to take the extra time to have those precautions. The other thing about this time of year, when the cold sets in, it's also a different circadian rhythm. So it's dark earlier, it's dark later, earlier in the evening. So you also want to be sure you're safe when you're outside running, not just making sure you're taking care of your body and your tissues, but making sure you're doing things like having reflective gear and paying attention to the weather, watching your local meteorologist, and staying ahead of these things so you're safe as you're doing these activities.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, if all this information will be posted on firstcoastnews.com, and we also don't want to forget about our pets too as well.
That's right. They have to go through the same precautions, so be careful.
All right. Thanks again.